do know how Pina is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Unfortunately, Pina has been diagnosed with another cancer.
Oh dear.
Yeah, colon. Yeah, colon cancer. She will know tomorrow what kind of treatment they're looking at. Yeah, it's too bad.
Sorry to hear this. Yes.
Yes, well,
she's got a lot of difficulties at the moment.
She does. Yeah, the Parkinson's is moving on apace. Yeah, things are getting harder for her for sure.
Yeah. Hope that they've caught the colon cancer early anyway.
I hope so too. I hope so too. They've done some surgery already. Now it's a question of what kind of treatment.
Please give her our very best wishes when you speak.
Likewise. Yeah.
I will from everyone. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. I've spoken to her quite regularly, and we'll probably speak with her tomorrow too after she's at the hospital.
I keep saying old age, sickness, and death is not a theory.
That's right.
Daily life nowadays.
Yes. Yes.
It always has been, but as we age, yeah.
Yeah, because we're well most of the time. We don't even think about it.
Are you there, Ajahn?
Yes, สวัสดีค่ะ everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์
สวัสดีค่ะ
I don't know if you, Ajahn, whether you heard Tom's comments about old age, sickness and death, because we were talking about the friend's sickness and anything else to add, Tom?
No, I think at our ages now, I mean, we're still young compared to Ajahn, but many of our friends have died or have sickness, and it's just the way to life, the reality. Yep.
And that is samsara, no one at all, right? Just samsara.
Right.
And in the deepest sense, actually, each chitta is sick.
Yes.
So it's a dart and all these different similes. It's so there's aging and sickness at each moment.
All gone.
Each one gone. And each one not belonging to anyone at all.
I can't tell from my screen here. Is Azita there today?
Yes.
She's here. And Azita, you said last time at the end that you had a new topic you wanted to bring up, and we said, okay, leave it for today. Would you like to bring it up?
I'd love to, but I don't remember what it was. Old age, you see. But
I have a question.
Oh, go on. Yeah.
Why Azita is thinking about it?
Hi, Tam.
Hi, Ajahn. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Can you see me?
Yes,
go
ahead, Tam Tam.
Yeah, I've been watching and listening on the YouTube, and I often hear Ajahn mentioning about the seeing. When you're seeing something, and if there is an understanding about the seeing, there is the understanding of the danger of the attachment. Then the other day, I also listening to another YouTube, it's separately, and Ajahn talking about the calming of the chitta, Then I combine the two understanding. Then I'm thinking, oh, if the understanding about the sense, understanding about the danger of the attachment, seeing detachment, then how can the chitta become if all the time they're seeing the danger of the attachment? I'm not sure whether I can express well here, and I'm not sure whether you can understand what I mean. Thanks. That is my question. Thank you. Either Sarah or Achan. I think it would be nice Achan because Achan is the one who's saying that. Thank you.
What about seeing right now? It's real, it's conditioned, and no one at all at moment of seeing, is that right? Just consider to understand the very subtle truth, so very subtle, beyond any expectation that it's real, so real, just arise to see and then fall instantly, beginning to understand whether it's true or not, to have more confidence of the truth, to let go. I think this way is true of so on, but each moment is conditioned, but the truth is unknown. It's covered up at moment of seeing because it's gone instantly and followed by the next moment instantly. So no one can think about it as it's just a reality now, even right now. We have heard a lot about the truth of each moment. Without conditions, nothing can arise again. And only one moment at a time. Imagine the subtle truth, just one moment at a time. At that moment, there is a reality which experiences an object so very quickly and then gone. Is it now to begin to understand the truth of reality, which is conditioned to arise to see? That's all. That is the world. From birth, experiences different objects through the eyes, ears, the nose, tongue, and body, and thinking all about that, and then gone. Where was the thinking yesterday? Where was feeling yesterday? All gone, even right now. As soon as it's there, it's gone. Beginning to understand the truth of that which is conditioned to arise and fall away. Is it true right now? No one makes it arising at all. It's beyond anyone's idea to make it arise. It's there already, but no understanding of the truth that is there by conditions. And then as soon as it arises and see, perform the function of seeing, and then gone, never to rise again. So how old are we? Uncountable years and years. Just seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, and gone. Never to return at all, even right now. That's the only way to have the confidence of the truth more and more and more until it's not forgotten about the truth of this very moment. Otherwise, we talk about it, seeing is a reality, it sees and then gone. Only that all day, all year. And what about understanding? Develop little by little when there is more considering about the truth of what is there. Little by little, so very little as foundation to not forget the truth, to be conditioned for at moment of seeing, there can be understanding of seeing, and that which is seen, not just we think or just talk about, it's there, rising and falling away and see. Is that right? Just have firm confidence, and even confidence is not anyone at all. Right understanding is a reality which can understand the truth. And at moment of no understanding, there is seeing right now, followed by ignorance, no understanding of seeing at all. Keep on all day, years and years ago. Is that right? Just consider the truth, that's all. And that is right understanding. Begin to understand the world, begin to understand life, begin to understand this moment that is gone already until it appears to that level of understanding which can penetrate the truth of this moment. So, what is there can be known? Only that which is there. And we are talking about the truth of each moment because seeing is seeing, hearing is hearing, and thinking is thinking. That's all in life. Years and years ago, on and on from now, non-stop. As long as there are conditions for whatever arises, it's now arising and falling away unknowingly until we just talk about it again and again and again to condition the moment of not forgetting that is there to be known. But no one can know it because all are dhammas. So it depends on different realities, condition to realize the truth. Not just seeing, because seeing cannot understand anything, hearing cannot understand anything. There are other realities too. That's why we talk about the chief of experiencing. It arises to experience the object through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And the other realities condition it to arise together, like feeling and memory and so on. But that which arises with the chief of experiencing, the seeing, hearing, smelling, is not the seeing itself. Is that right? Just condition, just understanding the truth to be conditioned to understand it more and more, little by little. Right now, how much understanding of seeing even is there. And to be truthful to the truth is a reality too, satya, the truth, understanding, condition the satya to the truth. Never change little by little, patiently, because just that which is now appearing can be the object of understanding of its nature, its truth, as it's just a reality which cannot perform any function, only just arises to see, little by little. Is it true? Just only that. And Panya understand the truth. At moment of that which appears, even through the listening about the truth of it, pariyatti, intellectual understanding, until it can be higher understanding, higher degree, because it's not just talk about seeing right now, but there is awareness of the characteristic of seeing. To understand that it's not that which is seen, and nothing is there at all. Only one reality is the object of awareness, and right understanding develops very gradually, little by little. Second round of the truth, without the intellectual understanding about what is there right now, how can there be any moment of understanding, not just listening and thinking, but it's there with awareness of its characteristic to be known, as we have heard. It's conditioned, arise and falls away. Can that be the answer for your question?
Um, yes, but before I ask you the next question, Sarah, do you want to say something, anything about this or no?
I'll just add a few comments. So Jan is stressing the importance of understanding seeing, because if there's no understanding of seeing, how can there be any understanding of the clinging to seeing or the danger of the clinging to seeing? So seeing is life right now. It arises and falls away instantly. So what's the use of clinging to that which is already gone? So all day long, there is clinging to seeing, clinging to hearing, clinging to what is seen, clinging to what is heard. But each of these dhammas falls away immediately. And there's no understanding of the danger of clinging again and again. And all the difficulties and disturbances in life are because of clinging to what is already gone. And you asked about the calmness of the citta. At the moment of seeing, no calmness. At the moment of clinging, no calmness. But when there is understanding, a moment of understanding, understanding of seeing now, understanding of what is seen, understanding of clinging, any Dhamma appearing, at that moment, the citta is calm. So the calmness develops with understanding. Without understanding, just wishing to be calm, wishing not to be disturbed, wishing not to have attachment is useless because it's just I clinging to having calm. So understand seeing, understand the reality now. It's the way that calmness develops naturally, not I trying to be calm. So this is why all the topics you mentioned are actually connected. Seeing is now, it falls away instantly, but there's clinging to what has gone, clinging to seeing, clinging to what is seen. And only at the moment of understanding the world right now is there true calm.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. You want to say something more?
No, that's good. Sorry, I've got a workman here, so it may be a little bit noisy when I speak.
Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, you have sort of covered my second question. So I just go back to my first question, just to the same topic, but I just want to ask a little bit further. So like Ajahn and you said that only Panya can understand about the reality. Say one does not understand, one does not have the Panya, or one does not understand the reality yet. So after seeing or hearing or anything, we need to reflect on the reality in order to I don't know how to say, to see the danger of the attachment, and then gradually the citta will be calm. Is that right? Because if you have panya, you can panya can do that. But if we don't have panya to understand the reality yet, so one need to keep reflecting on the reality to see any attachment or anything like that. So when I'm saying gradually, the citta will be calm.
And what we're saying is the main point is it's not I that has panya, or I that sees the danger, or I that can do anything at all. Because the listening, the considering, the wise reflecting, all arise by conditions. And the wise reflecting accumulates, conditioning more and more panya. But it's not do this so that I have more panya and then I can see the danger. This is the path of I, not the path of understanding. So as it's always stressed, the dhammas are very subtle. The understanding is very subtle, not I doing anything. It doesn't belong, Panya doesn't belong to you or Ajahn or anyone else. It's just a Dhamma that arises and falls away and is gone instantly. And there's clinging again and again to Panya, just like there is to seeing. But it's just a Dhamma that doesn't belong to anyone in the deepest sense. Even it is dangerous because it's impermanent and unsatisfactory, but there's clinging to it again and again. So instead of thinking, I need to reflect on what I've heard and consider what is meant, and then I will have more calm, the reflection just occurs naturally by conditions, like now, hearing about dhammas as anatta is a condition by itself for a little more wise reflection, a little more understanding. So no I to do anything at all.
Yep. Thank you very much. It's very clear now. Thank you.
Yes. And for all of us, there have to be the reminders again and again, because I always gets in the way.
Yes.
Hi, Leanne. Hi, Trevor. Glad to see everyone who came a little bit later. So we started with Tam Tan's questions. Anything else, Tam Tan, on your points? Anything else you'd like to ask Ajahn?
No, I think that's about it. Thank
Enough
you.
for now. And
Yes, enough for now.
Zita, did you remember the point you wanted to bring up, or that one's gone, all gone? Yes.
I
Okay.
can't remember. Yeah, don't know.
Yeah.
But I do want to just bring up that thing that we've just discussed on DSG about the nimitta. That was quite enlightening for me, that the Dhamma that arises, like the reality arises and falls really quickly, but what it's known by its nimitta. And then you went on to say that there's many moments of say sound, many moments of the sound as object. No, that's where I'm getting a bit confused. So when there's many moments of sound, are we saying that the nimitta is of many realities of sound? It is just sound, but it's many moments of sound that have arisen and fallen. So is that what is being said?
It's the nimitta of the characteristic of sound. So each of those sounds heard has fallen away, but
yes,
they each have the characteristic of sound. So when there is understanding of sound, it's actually the nimitta of the characteristic of sound, not just one sound that's been heard, but again and again with mind or processes in between. Like countless sounds are being heard at this moment. So it's not the understanding awareness of one sound, but the nimitta of that characteristic, which has been experienced many times.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I've been thinking of, if there's knowledge of sound, I'm thinking of it as sound of a dog barking or something, but that's a concept, dog barking. It's the sound we're talking about. That's really helped. So it's the knowing, or maybe the panya of sound, not a certain sound.
Yes, of sound. Of course, the sound of what we call the dog barking, that sound heard is different from the sound of the car noise, but it's still just sound. And when it's understanding of nimitta, it's the nimitta of similar sounds. It's that particular sound that is understood as just sound.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more, because it is an important topic. Yeah. Would you like to add more, Ajahn?
You explain very clearly, but it has to be remembered. The world we live is quite different from the way it is, from what you just talked about. Even just moment of hearing sound Does it appear? One moment of hearing sound, the hearing arises and hear it and then gone. Because the moment of hearing, the chitta arises before hearing, cannot hear, it just know what is there. Through what doorway, that's all. Make way for the moment of hearing to arise, to hear it, and then gone. And next moment is not moment of hearing, but just experiencing that which is heard. See, otherwise, without the teachings of the enlightened one, how can there be the understanding of each word of nimitta from life to life? Is it true? Just
Yes,
begin,
Ajahn, yes.
just beginning to have confidence of the truth is so very subtle. Otherwise, it cannot be taken for something all the time, from life to life. But in order to let go, ignorance and clinging accumulated enormously, uncomparable, it has to be understanding truly, be in, being true to the truth. Any moment hearing about the truth is so very subtle. That's why beginning to listen to understand the truth. And understanding is not seeing, not hearing at all. Just learn to understand the subtle characteristic in a day, in life, little by little, until what is said now appear by nimitta still. Is that right? Just one moment of hearing and sound experienced. Can it be just like now, hearing? It takes quite a long time and many moments, like seeing right now. How many moments of seeing arising and falling away it seems non-stop, but in truth, so many jittas in between. So understanding the subtlety of all dhammas, to understand that it takes quite a long time to be truthful, to understand the truth of just one characteristic which now appears as nimitta. Can anyone make it not appear as nimitta? Impossible. Even the truth when it's there experienced by way of nimitta, because the nimitta of citta, the reality which experiences the object, how many different moments, bhavanga, pancadavara vachana, and then seeing, and then sampatichana, santira, and so on. Who knows? Those moments do not appear. Only seeing is there now as nimitta of seeing. Whatever appears is the nimitta of that reality until no nimitta, realization of nibbana.
Wow, Ajahn, thank you very much. This is very enlightenment.
Yes, I agree, Tamtan. It is. Thank you, Ajahn. That mention, the last thing you said about until there's no nimitta, the experience of nibbana, well, I think that's far away. So learning about the realities now is what eventually leads to nibbana, because it's part of the path to know, to have right view about what's happening in the present moment. So,
So the Buddha's word. Okay, please.
sorry, Ajahn, what did you say? I couldn't hear you for a while.
So who's the great doctor which treat any patients, the blind, and so on. See,
The Buddha is the best doctor ever.
that's why the teachings is just like the medicine.
Yes, it's the best medicine.
To treat, to cure what kind of patients, the blind one see now, no understanding because it cannot see what is there until it can become healed and it begin to see light little by little.
I think that little by little that you often mention is also important to remember. Otherwise, I think it's the I comes in and wants to take over. The I being me, not the I that sees, but it's so subtle, as you keep saying, so subtle. And so back to that, no, the knowing of the reality via the nimitta. So that also when I read that post from Sarah, that the panya is also so very subtle. You don't even know that it's there. I don't even know that it's there, but it I guess it's developing. I don't know. But I think that the post from Sarah reminded me of just how subtle even panya is, that it's working its way little by little without any knowledge from me at all.
So now, understanding what we are talking about, right? We don't talk about the other rubbish, but we just talk about what is there, little by little, to understand that what can be known is only that when it's there, right?
Right, Ajahn, yes.
And that is understanding. Little by little, at any moment of understanding, it's developed gradually, so gradually, against all the ignorance enormously with attachment, not understanding what is there even right now, life to life, years and years ago. Just touch it with right understanding, not strong enough. And touching is understanding from hearing what can be touched. What is there to be touched? Awareness touch it, not just the ordinary cetasika arising, vitaka, and any moment, but it's the other reality. That's why we learn patiently to understand the truth about what is there, not to be forgotten, to be Dhammadra, conditioned to higher understanding when it's there. But it's so very subtle. Now we don't know how much understanding has been accumulated, developed little by little until we are hearing what is there about reality heard. See, it's just like this. That's why it's so natural, because it's natural way. Upanisya condition to condition even just a move of a moment, a finger, and so on in life. So subtle. So those who do not understand the subtlety of Dhamma that Buddha had enlightened do not understand who's the Buddha and what's the teaching about what is there now. Seeing, thinking, liking, disliking, feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, whatever is there. To open it up, to be seen, little by little until it can see clearly of what is there now. If there's not the beginning of understanding the subtlety of all Dhammas, it's not the teachings of the enlightened one.
I think the fact that it is always now. I mean
And,
there's only ever now, isn't there?
but not
Because
enough,
now arises and gone, and the next moment hasn't come yet. So it's always now.
but not enough understanding.
No, not nearly
And
enough.
that's why we talk about now, to have a little more understanding of what are there.
Yes. Yes, Ajahn.
I had a short question about, and thank you, John, for the explanation. I had a question about how little by little works, how it works to understand little by little the nimitta that like is the sign of the present moment and kind of just returning to the present moment. Like I'm making a little bit caught up in words, but basically I'm wondering that is it sufficient to discuss, study, and reflect just a little bit a day? And like if you live the rest of the day in ignorance, it's fine. Or like because like I in the experience that I'm sort of having is that I have these moments or these moments arise where there's thought and there's awareness of thought and there's seeing and there's awareness of seeing just for a little bit, but like 99% of the day is just like, just messing around doing like my job and just chores and like with complete ignorance over all of it. So I guess I'm wondering if that 1% or like less than 1% of just discussing, studying, reflecting is sufficient for the development of understanding little by little. Thank you.
Very good questions, Trevor, and glad that you've joined the Monday discussion. Anne and Monday people. Trevor lives in Berkeley in California, so after he returns from Thailand, hopefully he can join this discussion easily. And the point is, it's not I, always it's not I. So it's how it is right now. So even at this moment of listening to the Dhamma, maybe moments of understanding, maybe moments of ignorance and attachment, seeing, hearing, for sure, thinking about many different topics, thinking about California, thinking about breakfast, thinking about one's friends around here. So mostly ignorance and clinging all day long, but it's how it is. So it's not a matter of trying to have more or doing anything. Like you mentioned in a message on DSG, I just read about reading all of ADL and whether it's too much or too little. And this was like a question we had in the Vietnamese discussion yesterday. It's all the idea of I, how much should I read? How much should I listen? How much should I understand? Instead of just letting the understanding develop naturally, because no I to do anything at all. If it's very little, that's how it is, because as Ajahn has been stressing, the Dhammas are so very subtle. And if there's an idea that it's not little by little, or there can be a quick way, then it's not the teachings of the Buddha. Like you mentioned, many different techniques and practices and teachings before. But when it's I doing something to get a result, it's not the understanding of seeing now as anatta, hearing now as anatta. So it has to be very little by very little. And I don't think one needs to think about, well, is it sufficient or should there be more? Because this is just more story about I and my understanding. So just as it is, if there's ignorance now, there's ignorance now. If there's attachment, there can be attachment. Like understanding can develop and begin to understand any reality that appears. It doesn't mind whether it's anger or seeing or kindness, because whatever Dhamma appears can be understood, but very little by little, very little. So if we have the idea, I have to finish the book, I have to finish survey, I have to finish Abhidhamma in daily life to get a result, it's not actually the understanding of just what appears now. So no rules about whether one should be doing the chores now, like I'm attending to the workmen as I listen to the discussion, or whether one should be reading the book. Each moment of seeing, each moment of thinking, each moment of putting out a finger is conditioned in different ways. So the understanding is always here and now at this moment. And this is the way that one lives more easily and naturally, letting go of the idea of I following a practice of any kind.
Trevor, I'd just like to add a couple of words to what Sarah's just said there, that this aspect of am I doing enough can be just another face, a rather insidious one perhaps, of a certain type of practice that one may be taking on board. Am I doing enough? And that can be not particularly helpful, as has been explained by Sarah there, that it's a gradual path. It's a very gradual path. And it takes a lot of commitment to Dhamma as it appears at this present moment. There's no other way. Where we are in the development, well, that's even not particularly helpful to think about, because it's not helpful. There are realities, as Tanajan is always pointing out to us, that are appearing. They are the basis for understanding to grow. Whatever Dhammas that are appearing now, and there must be Dhammas that are appearing now, they can be the foundation for the understanding that will develop over time when there is the right appreciation, the pariyatti understanding that must be in place. And that, as I hear you speak, you are forming the foundation for. So I would just encourage patience. And Ajahn always talks about that in spades. We need great patience to develop the path.
Thank you both very much. It's really just made it a lot clearer, like how this works. Thank you.
No, well, Tanajan would say, I appreciate your wisdom and your understanding, because it's just tight. It is the appreciation that Dhamma develops of its own accord. It's not something that we or I can infiltrate in any way whatsoever, as much as we would like that, and as much as that can be understood at times. Because I think you used the expression the other day, that this counterintuitive nature of things. Well, in many ways, Dhamma is very counterintuitive, but it's not. It's just as it is. It is the way it is, and it's non-negotiable in some respects. It can be understood little by little. Thank you.
I thought of you also, Trevor, when Ajahn was mentioning about how actually we're all blind and we all need the medicine until healed, little by little. We've talked before about different difficulties in life, different disturbances, and how actually we're all sick with these different issues and problems. So it's actually now. So the greatest sickness is the ignorance of the truth. So the right medicine is the wise hearing and considering and reflecting and appreciating more and more that in truth, there's no Trevor, no Sarah, no one who is sick, just different dharmas that arise and fall away and are the object of clinging again and again, as Tam Tan referred to.
I'm very grateful for the explanations, and if I may, out of just curiosity, I'm kind of wondering, well, there's the eye again, but like what this looks like when it starts to make sense, when it really starts to click, like how does one know?
I think that it makes sense that what is heard is the truth. Like the world is sound now that is heard. The ideas about the noise of the workmen, the cars in the street, the different voices, the different people, is the dream world. So there's more and more confidence that most of the day we're just living in the fantasy world, the dream world. And more understanding means more confidence that the world is just now, just seeing now, just what is seen now, hearing now. So less and less confusion, a doubt about what is actually most important in life and what life really is at this moment. But it has to develop on and on because the ignorance, the clinging to the idea of I is so deeply rooted. So like you said, there will be, not be lost in the fantasy world again and again, just like when dreaming at night and then there's waking up and one knows it's a dream world. It's the same in the day most of the time after seeing, hearing, and the other sensed or experiences. It's the dream world. But occasionally at moments of understanding, there is waking up for a moment and then that's gone too.
I
So
think Trevor.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Trevor.
Tam.
I think Trevor is a lot better than I am. Sarah, when I first joined to DSG, I could not understand what you and John and Achan explaining at all. And I used to make very weird questions. And you all answer anyway. So it's good. Anyway, I just make question anyway, even though I did not understand anything. So
And
it's a lot better.
So no need to compare, but at least enough understanding, enough confidence to keep listening, keep considering, keep reflecting, keep asking questions. So we appreciate this a lot.
Yes. So what I'm saying here is to encourage Trevor to make questions,
Yes.
even though it's a good like me, like mine.
Yeah, we all appreciate his interest. Leanne, did you wish to bring anything up today? Oh, sorry, Alberto. Go ahead, Alberto.
Yeah, just comment about the present moment. This is the only way to see how things are improving. Just they're getting closer to what is there is actually there now. It's the only way to test the progress of the understanding of what we are hearing from the teachings. Because without hearing it, it's not there is no opportunity to get closer to the present moment and understand the present moment. So we need to, all we need to do is listening about the truth. And in order to get closer to it, since it can only be in the present moment, we begin to think about the present moment. And beginning to think about the present moment means not thinking much about the past and the future. It's like beginning to have a different perspective on life and on the world, on the job, work, the friends, family. It becomes more like no time for all this to happen, because there's no time for all the situation and the circumstance to take shape, to have shape and form. Because it's in reality it's so short, and the getting closer to the present moment is the proof about the truth of the teachings which we have been hearing for, some of us have been hearing for many years, but for you it's not so long. So the only answer is just listen. Of course, listen according to by condition, not by the eye. Making a situation in which one has to listen for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, because again, it's getting away from the present moment.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
No easy way out.
And in fact, Alberto, we don't even know how long we've been listening. There's all those past lives that maybe we've been listening and listening. So at this point, who knows how long we've been listening? I think maybe more than a few years, given that, who knows? I don't know. Just a comment.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about this life.
Okay.
We don't know about. We don't know
No, we
about
don't know. That's what I mean. We don't know. Yeah.
But we know about this.
Yes. Yes. So thank you. Have we got anyone else? Anne, have you got any questions?
Jan and everyone.
Go ahead, Leanne. Yes.
I didn't prepare a question, but there was a conversation between me and a Dharma friend. We was talking about something, and I thought, since no one asking question, I might just raise this. We was talking about how that friend said about how we've been focusing only on the wrong view and we forgot all about mana. And the reason she said that, because, if you look in the chart, then there's a type of a cheetah associated with rooted in lobha attachment, and out of those 8 types, 4 of them associated with or arise with wrong view, and another 4 arise with mana. And for that reason, if it doesn't fall into one, then it would fall into another. That means when lobha, then chitta arise with lobha, is either arise with wrong view or with mana. For that reason, that's very dangerous, because mana can actually prevent us from further learning, further mental development. Yeah, but then from my communication with Hằng and also Tham, I know that lobha doesn't necessarily arise with mana or wrong view, because it can be just a pure attachment with say taste or any other objects, and not necessarily arise with wrong view or mana. So I just want to have more explanation about this to see. And actually, last night I read from a teaching from a Buddhist monk, a Theravada Buddhist monk in America, and he explained exactly the way my friend said. This is where she learned from, I assume. So yeah, so I want to hear a bit more from Ajahn and everyone here, please. Yeah.
So just in brief, Leanne, what the other Vietnamese told you is correct. Lobha can arise with or without wrong view, mostly like now, clinging all the time to what's seen, heard, no wrong view. But the asava of wrong view is very prevalent. So we cannot say at this moment whether the clinging is with or without, because the asava is not known. And when mana arises, it cannot be the clinging with wrong view. But the clinging without wrong view is, we cannot say it's always with mana at all. So 4 of the kinds of lobha with wrong view, 4 without, but when it's without, more often not with mana than with mana. But mana is also very, very common. Like even now, we look at the face and have the idea about the hairstyle or the color or the backdrop, anything. So mana comes in very, very quickly, but we cannot say that whenever lobha arises without wrong view, mana is there.
Yeah, so they cannot arise together. Mana and wrong view cannot be together.
Cannot be together.
Yeah, but not
lobha,
necessarily that.
But lobha
have
can
to be
arise
one.
without wrong view and without mana. Yes.
So there are lobha. There's a time there's a lobha, but without wrong view and without mana. It can
Yes.
be.
Yes.
Yeah, it can
Like
happen.
now, after seeing kamasava, clinging instantly to what is seen, it doesn't need to be any
Wrong view
thinking with mana at all.
Okay. Yeah, because the chart, when we learn Abhidhamma, there's a chart about all the chitta and all that. And on that chart, she pointed out that the 4 type with wrong view and 4 type with mana. So show me which one's without mana and without wrong view. So,
But that's not right. If you look at the 8 kinds of lobha, 4 given with wrong view and 4 without, those without, it doesn't say with mana. If you look in Abhidhamata Sanghas to which chitta's mana arises with, it doesn't arise with every chitta with lobha that is without ditthi. So I'm
Yeah,
not quite sure where her chart came from.
I read the book also, Sarah. It doesn't say with mana. It can be with mana, or it can be with mana or without mana.
okay. I probably need to read a bit more on that. Just,
I think what
yeah.
I think
Yes.
what Sarah's saying there is true, because it's memory the Pali is ditthi gata sampayutta, so it's gone to ditthi literally, but it doesn't mention, we only know inferentially that sometimes mana will be there, but it doesn't specifically mention amongst those 8 lopamula chittas, doesn't mention mana. We just know it will be there. It can be there, perhaps is to say, it can be there sometimes, but we do know that it won't arise with ditthi. That's all we can say at the level of the Abhidhamma. But yeah, so it's not mana is not specifically mentioned. It's, as we know, it's an akusala chitta, and it is, as Sarah alluded to a moment ago, can be very subtle, can be very insidious, at so many different levels. And Sarah mentioned this aspect of comparing, when we sometimes hear, oh, somebody's earning so much money, and we learn that we think about we're only earning so much or whatever. It's very, 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 very prevalent, is mana. It comes from the Pali verb maneti, which means to measure. So we're measuring or comparing, if you like, all the time. Well, much of the time, and I believe much more than we think we are. So it's a reality, and it will arise only with a lobha chitta, cannot arise with dosa. So that's just the way it is sometimes.
Yeah.
They may
thank you.
be confused with the chart, because when talking about the 8 kinds of lobha, there's those with wrong view, those without wrong view, those with pleasant feeling, those with neutral feeling, those which are sasankarika, those which are asankarika, strong and
Yeah,
weak.
that's the chart. That's the chart.
Yes, but no mention of mana, Sundara says. So we learn that those that are without ditthi, whether strong or weak, with pleasant feeling or neutral feeling, can be with mana, but not always. They're not in that chart. Let's see if Ajahn would like to add more to you on this topic and bring it back more to this moment.
So, what is the point or the purpose of studying the chart or Dhamma?
Ajahn, I think it's to help us understanding that reality at this moment, rather than memorizing the chart.
Yeah. For the sake of understanding what is there now, right?
Yes, Ajahn.
Because there can be moments of misunderstanding when the reality appears so very rapidly, or are they unknown as they are, whether it is lobha or ignorance or ditthi or mana, but learn to understand the truth when it's there. The point is to understand the nature of what is there, that they are different. For example, ignorance is not attachment, right? Learn to understand each reality as it is, not just the word about this and that on the chart or in the book at all, but to understand the reality, which now it's there. Ignorance is there, unknown. And what about wrong view? Is it there or is it not there? It cannot be known until it appears to right understanding. That's why the learning of the Dhamma is to be able to understand what is there as it is right now as not self. That's why Ditti is moment of wrong understanding and how subtle it is as asava. See, can anyone know? Even avijja, asava now, no understanding of the nature of what is there. And when it's strong enough, it's known as there is pleasant feeling at that moment or clinging to that object. When there is moment of liking something very much while one is eating, see, we reach out for what we like most, what we like best. See, that's all we learn to understand reality, but it's there to understand that Ditti cannot arise with dosa. It refuses, it dislikes, it doesn't want it. So it's not attachment to wrong understanding. So when there's wrong understanding, there is attachment together. Without attachment to that wrong view, how can it be there? That's why at moment of ego or mana, when it's there, there must be attachment too, to the I with ego or with mana at that moment. That's why learn to understand what arises and what are there in just a moment, but what appears is only that which can be known. At moment of pleasant feeling, at moment of attachment to the object, what are there? But only one can be object of understanding at a time. So learning Abhidhamma is learning to understand the way Dhamma is, to understand, to let go the wrong understanding, thinking that I dislike that or this so much at that moment, there is a mana and so on. Not at all. See, usually, who knows, at moment of mana, what kind of pleasant feeling? But at moment of feeling like I'm inferior or I'm better and so on, what is the feeling? Pleasant or unpleasant? It's wrong understanding. If we think that I'm unpleasant when I'm feel inferior, but in truth, different moments. So learn about the way Dhamma explained in details, just to have more understanding of the differences of each reality, which arise so very close one after the other, like now. That's why understanding each reality more careful. For example, we talk about this moment, right? More precise. We talk about what? See, we say we are talking about this moment, but more precise, what we are talking about this moment. What we are talking about this moment. See, careful considering is there. From the very beginning, it has to be so very careful each moment to understand the subtlety of Dhammas. What is that we are talking about now? More precise.
I think we only talking about realities which has already disappeared. So we only thinking about concept. I
More
don't.
precise, please. More precise. Now, see, not the whole story about now, but what we are talking about now. More precise. Are we talking about seeing, to understand seeing, to know whether seeing cannot arise with mana and didi, right?
But saying,
So
does
now,
saying relate to
now
DT?
it's seeing, so we are talking about seeing, right? That's why not just now, but what is now we are talking about? Hearing, there is hearing now,
Yes,
talking
Ajahn.
about hearing. So talking about one reality at a time to have more understanding, more deep understanding of the nature of that which is so very deep right now, in order to get closer to that which is so very deep down.
Yeah. I want to hear about mana, Ajahn. Maybe can we talk about mana?
Someone is going to say something,
I
please.
said, can we talk about mana, please?
I heard someone going to say something too.
Oh,
Is that right?
Jan, I think it was just Leanne asking about mana. No one else was speaking.
I'll try to speak. Okay, let's talk about mana. Is there mana now? See, what's the point of learning about mana, whether there is mana now? It does not appear, so it cannot be known. But when it appears, is there any understanding to understand that it is just a reality? No one at all. Is this the point of learning about Dhamma, and about mana, as no one? It's just a moment conditioned by the accumulation of mana. So mana can be realized or can be known or can be studied when it's there. But even it's not there, we can talk about it in order to understand it when it's there. So the point of we learn about mana in order to understand mana as the self when it's there, appearing. So now mana does not appear, we talk about it. What is mana? How many kinds of Dhamma? Superior or inferior, better or less, and so on, to understand the very subtle moment of mana. Because it as subtle as we are talking about seeing now, even it's there, it's so subtle. So when mana is there, it's so subtle as well. That's why just learn to understand a little more, to have firm confidence, no expectation, whether it's moment of understanding, different degrees of mana, but learning to understand all kinds of Dhamma in order that when it's there, it can be known, beginning to be known directly, clearer and clearer when it's there. Because now we're talking about all kinds of Dhamma, but it's not yet object directly of understanding of its nature. So the point of listening to mana or any kind of reality is just to be ready to understand it. Otherwise, there cannot be any understanding of what is like now. Is that right?
Yes, Ajahn. Ajahn, I think mana can be right now, like when I compare my understanding with others, or I don't understand that much compared to other friends. So it can be right now, right?
It's just like saying right now, it's right there now, no
Yes.
understanding of it yet.
Yes, Ajahn.
That's why we learn a little more, begin again, a little more, begin again, a little more. This is the only way to let go the enormous ignorance and clinging to whatever is there, little by little. So now, no doubt about mana. It's a reality. It's
Yes,
not
Ajahn.
pity. It's not titi. It's not seeing. All our realities learn to let go, clinging to something or this or that as I or something, but understanding can understand it very gradually, very little at a time. But a little is a little more. Each moment of a little, it means a little more. That's the way to let go, not to cling to understand this or that or expect to have what be the object of understanding. The way to let go is only more understanding of the truth. And it has to be so natural because understanding now means understand what is there right then, right there now,
Yep.
any
Yep.
moment.
Thanks,
Is,
Ajahn.
is it subtle? Even the way to understand the truth.
Mm. But when we have the idea that, oh, I need to let go of mana because I have to, mana is also dangerous and I don't want to have mana, then at that moment there's wrong view, right? Not letting go is actually opposite to letting go.
No understanding of now.
Yeah. Yes, I get it. Thank you, Ajahn.
And mana doesn't need to be comparing. It's just the impression of one's own importance, like looking at the mirror or looking at one's picture on Zoom. Is there the impression of one's own good haircut or not good haircut, or the importance of one's picture of I there? It's mana. But there can just be clinging, or there can be wrong view. It's I, it's someone there. So only Panya can know at this moment or any moment. Much more subtle than just the ideas we have of someone having more or less understanding, because it can sneak in so easily and different
So
from
there's
just
many
when
different
there's clinging.
levels. Yeah, like many different
Yes.
level. It can be
Yes.
as
Yes.
like subtle, like you just said, if
Yes.
we just look impressed with
Just an impression
ourselves,
when looking in the mirror. Yes.
or how I'm so
quickly.
lucky to be here in this forum or something like that, right? I'm lucky
Can
to
be. It's
Yeah.
not the words, but the
Yeah.
idea behind it, the cheetah. And it changes at each moment, like even now, different cheetahs, cheetahs with Loba, cheetahs with Didi, cheetahs with Mana, Loba with each of those, and then just clinging.
Yeah.
But as Jan said, if one tries to find out, try to work it out, it's more clinging.
Yeah.
More ditty, more idea of I, wanting to know, trying to work it out, looking for the subtle Dhamma. It's not the understanding and letting go.
I get it. Thank you so much, Hannah-chan, Sarah.
Just to comment on.
There's not one one is not one reality. It's can only be intellectual understanding. It must be the with direct understanding. It is just one reality appearing, but one is not just one reality. It has to be just intellectual understanding, no more than so that level of thinking about the truth. No.
Without the hearing and the wise considering, then how can there be the direct understanding of Dhamma when it appears? So it can be the direct understanding conditioned by the wise considering of what has been heard, what has been read, what has been well considered, like seeing or any other Dhamma. So understanding has to develop little by little.
So that wise considering could be quickly followed by I am considering. I mean, the Dhammas
Exactly.
change so fast, don't they? Yeah.
And it's wise considering that appreciates how quickly mana or ditthi or lobha come in, even now, even in the middle of a Dhamma discussion while discussing these points. And it doesn't matter because, back to Trevor's concern, each one is conditioned and gone. It has to be like that. So considering how there's so much more ignorance, so much more wrong views, so much more mana, so much more lobha than one had any idea before, is wise considering. But none of them belong to anyone.
Right.
Just different dhammas conditioned and gone.
And just one other thing, mana is the very last hindrance or jetasika, a kusala jetasika to be eradicated. It is only eradicated at the time of arahatship. So it's so there. It's there until arahatship. So
and
you're
so
not going to
subtle.
get rid. So subtle, exactly.
Those
yeah.
those remnants left, even when there's no clinging to sense object, but just the remnants of one's importance or one's jhana attainment, just those remnants only eradicated when lobha and ignorance were eradicated.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your all help with explaining about mana. So I'll pass it on to, I think Trevor wanted to say something, right?
Go ahead, Trevor.
Is I guess the question would be, is talking about I itself mana?
I was going to make a comment before when you said, oh, I shouldn't use I. So it's not about the words we use, like we say, oh, I'm attending a Dhamma discussion today. I'm wearing a white shirt or a green jacket today. So it's not about the words, it's about the idea, the belief behind the words. So it's not a matter of having to change the language, but just understanding more about the Dhammas.
Yeah, I think
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a very important point, Sarah, and I believe Jonathan has spoken to this before also, that just because we use the word I as needed to be done sometimes, the most important thing is the understanding. So what needs to change or what ideally has to change is around which will. No, I'm not putting this very well. So it's not the words that are so important, it's the understanding that's the important thing. So whether we use I or me or them or whatever pronoun that that you want to use, it's quite okay, and it's not indicative of somebody with wrong understanding. That's just the way it is. And we need to convey ideas, different concepts, have questions, and they're always important, I feel, to have different questions. I mean, Tanajan is always reminding us, Trevor, that there are realities appearing, and that's what the path is all about, learning to develop the understanding that appreciates the different realities as they appear, rather than what pronoun we should or shouldn't use or what's best to use. The most important thing is developing a gradual understanding of whatever reality appears, and that is in many ways what the path is all about. It develops very gradually. So I'm realizing now that I'm making a rather long-winded answer. It's not important, the pronoun that we use, if we use them, how often we use them. We have to use language. The Buddha himself used language. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of feedback, so I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We just have a few minutes left, so let's see if Ajahn has anything she would like to add before we end.
A little more understanding, right? That's the way it is. And it's so very, very clear at level of intellectual understanding about no one. What moment is there is a reality. Without conditions for its arising, nothing can arise at all. Begin to consider the truth of reality in a moment, because life exists only in a moment and gone instantly. No one there at all. There is the idea of I at moment of birth on and on to death. But after that, where's the I? Or even right now, after seeing, where's the I? Or even at moment of seeing, where's the I? Begin to let go, not by oneself, not by trying so hard to let go, but the understanding little by little of the truth until it's moment of directly understand what we have talked about, like seeing right now. It's there, not enough understanding to condition moment of directly understand the characteristic of that which sees as not that which is seen. This is so very important because what are there in the world? Each world is only moment of experiencing an object, the reality which arises to experience different realities, different conditions at the moment, and the reality which is there but cannot experience the object at all. And this is the only way to let go ignorance and clinging and wrong understanding and all kinds of akusla. So what's the point of listening to the truth? Not just for the sake of I who understand it, but the sake of hearing, considering, is to let go ignorance and attachment and wrong understanding, which is there now. What is there is something, see? No understanding of it's not anything which we take from moment of seeing, because it's just so short. What appears cannot be taken for anything at all. But life is not that understanding the truth yet, because of ignorance and attachment so enormous accumulated. That's why understanding the truth, that only understanding itself, little by little, stage by stage, is the moment of letting go ignorance and attachment until it's less and less and less. Different levels of understanding, intellectual understanding. If it's not enough, How can there be a moment of not forgetting to understand the truth of what is there, which we have learned about it? And that's the way it is. Anatta, all dhammas are anatta. And the confidence of the truth is the parami, the conditions to understand what is that deeper and deeper and deeper, without careful considering, wise considering of what is there. There can never be the understanding of what is there. Just heard about it. It's there. It's real when it is seen, and seeing is real when it's there sees what is there appearing. That's all. But when there is more confidence of each word of truth, for example, seeing is not known as is as just a moment of experiencing that which is seen. No more other reality at all, only one at a time. That can be learned little by little, letting go that they cannot be together with moment of seeing, of thinking, of bhavanka and so on. Little by little, it develops in its own way, at moment of careful considering to have more confidence. That's why confidence of the truth is a reality that will condition moment of getting closer and closer to attend to the characteristic of that which is now not attended. Little by little, joy, being joyful, it's this way and the only way. Have firm confidence of it as foundation to have more understanding of what is heard, no one, a reality. It's now developed little by little, so little unknown, until it's there known, stage by stage.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Ajahn. Yes.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Dika.
สวัสดี
Many
ค่ะ
thanks.
สวัส
Thank
ดี
you.
ค่ะอาจารย์
Khop khun khrap, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Thank